In the last video, we saw the farm family of Sejun resuming their normal jobs. They were busy harvesting cherry tomatoes, and then suddenly, Sejun harvested a bunch of cherry tomatoes that gave him enough experience to increase his job grade from D to C. He was happy to receive that, but then he received even better news. Because of the upgrade, he got a new talent called Friend of Nature that allows him to communicate better with plants and animals. Sejun couldn't believe that he could talk to animals now and immediately turned to his friend, the father rabbit. He could clearly understand him and his family. Everyone was happy, and the first generation of rabbit kids called Sejun uncle and rejoiced that they could freely talk with him. Next up were the queen bee and her children, who were also overjoyed to find that Sejun could understand them now. They hugged him, and after that, Sejun decided to tell this news to everyone outside too. He put on his straw hat that he had removed because of the heat, and then suddenly, it resonated with his grade going up. The grade of the straw hat was raised to C, increasing all its abilities and granting Sejun a new skill called Growth Promoter that can accelerate the growth of any crop for 1 week. Sejun was happy and decided to plant the special crop named Sweet Potato Sun Pumpkin that he has not grown yet. He used Growth Promoter on them, but then got a sweet bonus as another one of his skills, wishing for a good harvest, activated in the nearby onion field, and its effect seeped into the sweet potatoes too. As Sejun was rejoicing about this, Quing leaped at him and started calling him dad. Sejun was flustered to hear this, but the mama bear gave him the go-ahead, and he decided to think of the chubby bear cub as his son. Another joyous news was waiting for everyone, as it was also the day to harvest potatoes for the first time. Sejun found they were called the potatoes of strength, and they were a C-grade crop. He steamed those potatoes and had a happy meal with his friends to commemorate the day. This episode starts with everyone gathering outside the cave. The bear cub Quing is throwing a tantrum and crying that he wants to stay beside his dad, while his mom tries to calm him down somehow. Sejun is ignoring him completely and asking Theo if he loaded his bundle with a lot of green onion plants. He affirms, saying that he has packed his bundle full of them thanks to the help of the wolf employees. After that, Sejun turns his attention to the bear cub and asks him if he is going to act so childishly. He asks him what he told him as his dad just now, and with tears in his eyes, Quing replies that he told him to stay behind and protect his queen bee sister. The queen bee and one of her kids are perched on his head as he says this, and then Sejun asks him if he is going to keep kicking a fuss even after those instructions. Quing finally agrees to calm down, but in return, he wants Sejun to promise that he will return from his journey soon. Sejun touches his forehead to the baby bears and tells him that he will return as soon as possible. He asks Quing if he can trust in his dad and wait, and he nods like a little baby. With that, the leader of the wolves, Elka, calls Sejun the Great Black Dragon and tells him that he will escort him now. Sejun rides on the wolf's back along with the Black Warrior Rabbit, and Theo rides on his shoulder. It reminds me of the scene where Naruto was on top of a pyramid of toads. He also tells the Minotaur couple, Ox number 3 and Cow number 4, that it is time to depart to the waypoint, where the Minotaur King is. They start their journey with Quing waving them goodbye in the back. Thanks to the fast sprinting speed of Elka, they quickly cover the vast distance between Sejun's field and the Minotaur territory. Sejun compliments Elka on his speed for that, but Theo and the Black Warrior Rabbit have their eyes covered because of the strong dust. Suddenly, Sejun spots a dark and eerie patch of hills in front of him and asks what that is. On first sight, it appears like a forest, but it is incredibly and unnaturally dark, almost like my future. Ox number 3 replies that it is the place where the jerks are, but that is not much of an explanation. Cow number 4 seems to be both the smarter and the sharper one of the two, and she tells Sejun about the dark area in detail. She explains that even on the 99th floor, there are many territories. The territory they are going towards belongs to the Minotaurs, while the area where Sejun's farm is the territory of the mama bear, Akka, the red fur. As for the dark forest, it is the territory of someone called the corrupt beings of the west. Sejun is curious about them, but Cow number 4 doesn't tell him much apart from the fact that they were not always corrupt. She tells Sejun that right now, it is not good for him to know about the details or to go near the place. She explains that the place is dangerous and urges him not to go anywhere near it. Sejun is curious about the corrupt beings and thinks that he will ask Aileen about this in detail later. They take the long way to avoid the dark patch, and then suddenly, a ball of mud hits Sejun in the face with such great force that he throws off his ride. Everyone is worried about him. Theo is the first to react, followed by Ox number 3. Who asks him if he is alright, and then by Elka, who is terrified that someone dared hit the great black dragon. Sejun gets up and tells everyone that he is fine while wiping the mud from his face. After he looks at the mud on his hands, he looks ahead and finds a herd of minotaurs eating mud. Just seeing it makes me wanna puke, but Sejun realizes that the minotaurs have to eat mud because there is nothing else to eat in this place. He also understands that this food scarcity is the reason they get so crazy the moment they see anything green. As Sejun is still sitting on the ground, the black warrior rabbit joins him and even asks Theo to come down. The cat acts like an entitled brat and declares that he won't come down since he hates stepping on mud. While Elka apologizes to Sejun for letting that happen, cow number 4 takes charge. She asks who dared throw food at their guest, and a minotaur who looks like he is a bully comes out to greet the couple who have not come home since a long time. He asks them where they have been spending their time so amicably, and then notices the guests. He tells ox number 3 that he is too weak to bring any toys to this place and asks him to give them to him so that he can play well with them. That earns him a crushing punch to the face from cow number 4. The punch sends the bully wannabe spinning in the air before crashing down on his back, and I think this is pretty much what will happen in the Mike Tyson vs. Jake Paul fight. With that, cow number 4 declares that they have no time, and they must immediately go to the Minotaur King. Her boyfriend is just fangirling over her from behind, and I am starting to wonder why someone as good as cow number 4 would settle for him. In the meantime, a Minotaur has rushed to their king's side to inform him that the Minotaur couple is back, but they have brought some strange-looking guys with them. Before the Minotaur King can inquire any further, ox number 3 and cow number 4 appear before him. They declare that they have arrived with guests from Red Fur's territory, and this makes the rest of the Minotaurs a bit anxious. The Minotaur King is relieved that they have come to meet him themselves, as now he doesn't need to waste his precious time going to them. He welcomes the white farmer rabbits, whom he believes are underlings of the Red Fur, but then gets surprised as he notices that the only white thing among them is Sejun's t-shirt. The Minotaur King says that he doesn't look like a white rabbit and asks who he is, and Sejun introduces himself by his name, followed by Theo. Well, the Minotaur King has never met humans before, and it shows because he thinks that Park Sejun is the name of the species. He has never heard of this species called Parcus sejunus before, but quickly moves on and commends him for coming all the way here. The Minotaur King leans on his throne as he says that a few days ago, he had a great taste of the grass they farmed and remarks that it must have been difficult for Sejun to survive on the 99th floor with his weak powers. He adds that he doesn't know the reason he is working under Red Fur but promises to save him from the mama bear in case he is facing any kind of injustice. He declares that it is his consideration for weak monsters like him, and he allows Sejun and his group to speak freely. Well, Sejun is about to give him a fact check and tell him that he is mistaken about some things. First, he doesn't work under the mama bear, and instead, she and her baby help him out. Second thing, he is not here to ask to be saved from unfair treatment, but rather to complain about something. Sejun tells the Minotaur King that he is here to get compensated for what he stole from his farm 3 days ago. Sejun tells him with a smug expression that unless he wants to be labeled a thief, he must pay up what he owes him. The Minotaur King doesn't take his words kindly, and he starts raging at Sejun, daring him to say that again. He crushes the rock underneath his feet, asking how dare lowly beings like him accuse him of stealing. He refuses to accept the allegation that the strongest being on the 99th floor, the Minotaur King, is a thief. Sejun is barely holding his ground in front of the Minotaur King's mighty roar, but even as he keeps his hat from flying away, he asks him what he is, if not a thief, and Theo seconds his opinion. Sejun then lashes out at him, asking, aren't Minotaurs supposed to be warriors of honor? But instead of getting embarrassed about what he did, their king is getting angry first. Hearing his words, the other Minotaurs start doubting if the human is telling the truth. They wonder if their boss really stole the grass they ate 3 days ago. Seeing them question him, the Minotaur King does a 180 on his stance and tells Sejun that there seems to be a misunderstanding. He comes up with the excuse that, as the protector of the waypoint, there is a limit to his actions away from his post, and he came to his field in a rush. He did not have much time to talk, so he just took away the grass, but he had every intention to pay him back eventually. The Minotaur King is still a bit nervous about his answer, and he just laughs to hide it. He then asks Sejun what his wish is so that he can fulfill it. He is ready to give him rare or legendary grade items, but Sejun is not interested in any of those. Instead, he asks the Minotaur King if he can let him use the waypoint. The Minotaur King is taken aback and asks him to repeat, and Sejun says that the price he wishes for is being allowed to use the waypoint. Well, the Minotaur King thinks that it is acceptable and decides to honor Sejun's wishes. He calls him forth to fulfill his desires, and Sejun is elated that he will finally get out of the tower. He climbs on the platform and walks towards the waypoint, dreaming of going outside. He notices the giant floating crystal and reaches towards it. As Sejun touches it, suddenly he gets a system message in front of him. The message says that the tower waypoint on the 99th floor has been saved, and now the system is loading another saved waypoint. However, since Sejun has never been to another floor before, there is no waypoint other than the 99th floor stored in his data, and he cannot move to another floor. He is shocked that he cannot move, and the Minotaur King asks him if it is because he is someone who was not born inside the tower. He doesn't know how Sejun came to the 99th floor, but the rule of the tower states that all external entities must register themselves on the waypoints at each floor, starting from the first floor. That is the only way outsiders who are invited into the tower can move through the floors. The Minotaur King tells Sejun that, with only the 99th floor on his list, he is not eligible to go to another floor. That was enough to break him down, and Sejun falls to his knees as his hope to escape the tower is shattered. With this, the video ends. Well, our MC was really looking forward to getting out of the 99th floor, but the tower hit him with a psych. Let us wait to see how he copes with that and what else happens in the next chapter. Till then, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and check out more of our videos.